Hey guys, it's Whitney Johns here. It is St. Patrick's Day and we are celebrating, okay? I have the best St. Paddy's Day cocktail for you. It's a really good recipe, and the great news about it is it's actually pretty clean. It's kind of good for you, and there's really good ingredients in there that are actually replenishing you as you booze it up, right? What's not to love about that? So it is a Irish whiskey, lemon apple cider vinegar fizz, a little mouthful, but it is a really delicious cocktail. I'm actually drinking it myself, tested and true, and I'm going to show you how to make it. So while we make this cocktail, I had you guys submit your best dating and relationship questions to me. So let's discuss, because you might not only have the best cocktail on St. Patrick's Day to celebrate, but you also might just get lucky with this advice, okay? What's our first question?
Does playing hard to get actually work, or is it outdated?
Instead of thinking about it as playing hard to get and playing games, it's better to just be upfront about who you are, what your boundaries are, what your deal breakers are. At the end of the day, you have to also decide, what are you valuing? Are you just trying to get laid, have a one-night stand, or are you actually trying to find a fulfilling relationship? That's up to you. But the other thing is, you don't want to chase, you want to attract, right? There's an energy that comes when you're too thirsty. So there's a fine line and a balance between chasing and attracting somebody your way. That first ingredient, as you saw, was Irish whiskey. It is about 1.5 ounces per serving. I did maybe a little because it's St. Patrick's Day. Damn, this is good. You guys are gonna love it. Okay, next ingredient is gonna be 1 ounce of lemon juice. I have fresh squeezed because nothing but the best, right? Highly recommend. And let's go with the next question.
I always seem to get ghosted. Why does this keep happening to me? I feel like I'm doing something wrong.
Okay, so the ghosting thing. First, let me just say that oftentimes rejection is just an opportunity for redirection. It's probably saving you from something that's not going to work out anyways or be compatible with you anyways. Now, that being said, you need to learn about attachment styles. There's different attachment styles. Every human has one, okay? It is either avoidant, or you are an anxiously attached person. In a nutshell, you can read a lot about this, but if you're an anxiously attached person, sometimes that causes you to kind of cling on to it, get worried about it, constantly obsess about what are they thinking? How do I make them happy? How can I please them? Do they still love me? Do I need to be worried about my safety here? That is an anxiously attached person. Avoidant is an individual who, once the intimacy becomes too much, you're sort of like repelled, you put distance between you kind of like to go the other way, you like to kind of internalize or basically hide from your partner because the intimacy is too much and you're trying to avoid getting too close to a person, which often comes from a place of being hurt or it's their own defense mechanism, which can lead to ghosting, especially if you are an anxiously attached person and you're attracted to that avoidant style. They might ghost you or they might avoid you. The biggest thing is here, don't take it personally if that happens. You need to just know this is a redirection. There's a better match for you. You don't need to be playing that merry-go-round game. Why? And when you get ghosted, focus on yourself. Focus on improving yourself, self-love, pouring into yourself, because obviously that person isn't going to do it. The more whole you can become as a person, the less you're going to find yourself getting ghosted, and the more attractive you become to the opposite sex. All right, next ingredient. We have apple cider vinegar. We're gonna do 1/2 ounce of apple cider vinegar. I know this sounds weird to put apple cider vinegar in an actual cocktail, but just trust me, you're gonna love it.
I feel like all women are looking for is a man with money, and I'm never going to find my match. Where do I find a good woman?
Well, this is a really good question. but it really comes down to your own beliefs. You have to start examining your own limiting beliefs around relationships, about what's possible to find out there. You also have to remember that you might have a limiting belief about all women are gold diggers. There's no good women out there. Everybody's going to screw me over. Nobody really loves me. Anyone that loves me leaves me. These are beliefs that you have internalized, and now you are literally recreating them in your life, okay? Now you are seeking them out. Until you heal those limiting beliefs and you heal those wounds around that belief, you're going to keep attracting women like that. You're going to keep attracting people into your life that it's not fulfilling. It's not real love. It's not good for you. But you have to work on yourself. The only thing that you can control is healing those wounds and basically changing your mind about what is possible. Instead of having blinders on, only finding women that are fitting this one prototype that you continue to bring into your life, instead change it to, actually, I know good women exist. I've seen it. I'm going to seek out evidence of it in the real world. I'm going to start believing that that's possible for me. And I'm going to start having really strong boundaries around the people that I choose to spend my time with and invest my energy into, because I no longer want to participate in this perpetuating pattern in my life. Next ingredient is a little half an ounce of maple syrup. You could also use honey. Next question.
This is a really juicy one. Should you be completely honest about your past, or is it okay to keep some things private?
This is a really good question. So, too early on, there are a few things that you should not share, in my opinion, until this person has earned the trust and the right to some of your vulnerabilities. So, these are also a few things that you can really scare a person off with if it's shared and oversharing too soon. Those will be way too much about your past history. A lot of times people can actually use this against you later on if you overshare this too soon, okay? Another thing is like your deepest traumas. Not the time and the place for kind of your first date, okay? Nobody needs to hear that. Are they going to be like, I'm dying to see this person again? Probably not. Wait a little later down the road when it's appropriate. Another thing is trashing your ex, okay? When you're trashing your ex, this might actually be a red flag to certain people and think, what are they going to say about me later on? I say, be genuine and authentic about your boundaries, what you want, your deal breakers, but don't trauma dump too soon. Wait until the connection is there and the intimacy is there and that you have some level of trust with each other so that they can hold the space for this type of conversation in a way that's not going to backfire at some point. So for our next ingredient is actually the magic ingredient that is going to guarantee that you will not be hungover. It's called Morning Routine. It's my favorite little electrolyte complex. It has trace minerals, it has sea salt, it has electrolytes, and it has apple cider vinegar. How handy that it just goes along with the flavor panel for this entire cocktail. And you're also replenishing, rehydrating as you're drinking and dehydrating. So you're kind of like canceling out the damage, right? Next question.
How do you keep the spark alive in a long-term relationship?
Okay. So I have been in a relationship for 4.5 years, almost 5 years now. And I think that you really have to prioritize spending time together alone. Date nights are very important. You also have to understand that your partner has needs that are going to be different from yours. The masculine and the feminine are very different, and they need and require different things to feel fulfilled in a relationship. So you have to kind of keep that in mind and help nurture those needs and help nurture that polarity, which is going to keep your attraction super strong. It's also a really good idea to make your intimate time fun, okay? Make your sex life a blast. Try different things, experiment, learn what each other's boundaries are, and go there with each other. Actually make time to explore each other's fantasies, desires, emotional needs. You really have to be considering the other person, though, at all times. That's what it really boils down to. But give into that relationship, pour into the relationship, consider the other person, and try to fulfill their needs the best that you can. Okay, so we're almost done with cocktail. We're putting the finishing touches on. We're gonna put the finishing touches on your questions. You guys had some really good questions, and I think we should keep them coming. We might do some more segments just like this because I'm having a good time. Are you? You're gonna add some mint. Okay, final question, and then we'll take more for future segments.
Should you ever slide into someone's DMs for a first move? Is it okay to shoot your shot via Instagram?
You know, funny story. That's actually how I got this ring on my finger. By coincidence, we met via Instagram. He slid into my DMs. It was actually on accident, which I didn't believe at first, and then it actually was verified because he's terrible with technology. And I ended up responding to him. We were long distance for a while. It was like the most random happenstance thing. We would have never met otherwise. And look how it turned out. So, you know what? Shoot your shot. I say, do it. You might get lucky. All right, guys, thank you for submitting your questions. I had a blast. I hope you try the cocktail. I hope you love it. I'll know you're gonna love it. And I hope you get lucky.